What is going on? I'm joined today with my good friend Anthony, my best friend. And today we're going to talk about the Trump tattoo dilemma, okay? So let me just break it down. All right, this is real
Please,
easy, and
please.
I'm going to break down also what I the fuck thought this was because I did this thing that I shouldn't do with this administration is give them the benefit of the doubt.
I was
Okay?
just gonna say, did
because
you give them the benefit of the doubt,
yeah,
dude? Don't do
because
that.
I really did do that. I really did do that, and I mean because a couple weeks ago he was talking about this American, or
Yeah,
well, I guess he'd be a citizen, uh, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
Abrego Garcia. That's the guy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's the guy that got sent to El Salvador. Okay,
The concentration
and
camp.
yeah,
Yeah,
and super weird because no due process, no nothing. They were just like, this motherfucker was an MS13. We're gonna send him to back to his country, and he's gonna have to pay for his sins. Turns out that this guy is probably not MS13. It's pretty. I think it's. I think the courts have said that he isn't affiliated with MS13. So Trump put up this picture
hmm
of so I'm putting this up on the screen now. So this is the picture that he posted to signify that this guy was part of MS-13. So a lot of
Okay.
people were fighting about this image, and we'll look at it closely here, and I'm gonna point this out. The the pointer finger has an M, the middle finger has an S, and it goes down the line to 1-3. Okay.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
a lot of people out there, and this is where the benefit of the doubt came in, where people were saying, well, these are just signifiers. The MS and the 1 and the 3 are the signifiers for what the actual tattoo means, which are actually on his hand. Which,
That's exactly what I was thinking. Right? Marijuana, smile, cross is,
mm-hmm.
I guess, the one and So I was like, oh, okay. This isn't like a he put MS13 in.
Right.
Okay. Like
Like
he didn't
it's
put
yeah,
that
it's
on there
not
to say
Photoshop.
that's the
This isn't a
tattoo.
shitty
Yeah.
Photoshop, which is what it looks like because you can see the
Yes.
MS-13 are very clearly just put on the picture, and
They didn't even
I
use
thought
Photoshop. This is Paint. They use Microsoft Paint. That's our administration. That's the administration we have, guys. Me and you and everybody watching this can use Photoshop to some degree. Not a single person in the administration can use Photoshop to do this. They went straight to Microsoft Paint. Anyway, continue, please. That's the
yeah.
level of
So
competence we're dealing with.
yeah, that's exactly who we're dealing with. So he shared this picture, and just putting it on the screen again, like a bigger picture. He put this on screen, and this was a indicator of like this guy, like, hey, like I know you guys are saying all these things that but he was part of this gang.
Hmm
I agree to, like, okay, people are really reaching out. Like, he doesn't really think that the fucking MS and 1-3 are the actual tattoos. Like,
No, of course not.
mind you, I didn't hear different, but like I said, give the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, no shit, like that's so obvious. They're signifiers for the actual tattoo, and I don't
Yeah,
know that. I don't know that for a fact. I don't know
yeah.
if those symbols do stand for those letters or whatever the case may be. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
no, of
cool,
course, but it's a logical leap to make, right? And so when you saw
super
the thing, you were
logical
like,
leap to
okay,
make.
well, logically that makes sense. But what you're saying is our
Right.
administration are a
So
bunch of
so
illogical morons.
hmm and I'm like,
All
okay,
right.
look at these crybaby liberals, okay,
Mm-hmm.
because look at them crying about their soy milk, these soy boys, and all that stuff, crying about. Look at what this fascist administration is doing again.
Fair. I'm not gonna lie. Fair. That's a fair
And so
feeling.
I just took it in a grain of salt. I'm like, hey, my beef with the situation is that this guy was a citizen and was
Yeah.
given no due process, just fucking sent away. That is shit is scary. That is a scary
Yeah.
proposition to hear, that citizens are being just deported on a whim. No due
Yeah.
process, right? And due
And he's
process
not the only
means
one.
getting
Yeah.
a lawyer,
Yeah.
right? Getting a lawyer,
Yeah.
going to court, all that kind of stuff. Things that aren't
Yeah.
afforded to him at the supermax prison, where people come in and they don't come out. Okay,
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
that was my beef. My beef wasn't the fucking shitty Photoshop, right? I got bigger fish to fry. Okay,
Then
pescado.
yeah.
Okay, bigger pescados. All right.
Okay.
And so, a couple weeks went by. The conversation was stayed the same. Like, hey, what are they doing? What's going on? A senator went to El Salvador to go talk to this guy. The whole shibizzle. right?
Yeah.
Now, yesterday, Trump has an interview about
Mhm.
that moment, that issue, right? And this is the crazy part for me because this fucking motherfucker right here, Trump says this, okay?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He had MS13 on his
he
knuckles
did say,
tattooed.
oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not
Don't
have the
do that.
letter MS13.
It says MS13.
That was Photoshop. So let me
That
just.
was Photoshop. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry. Hey.
If anyone's familiar, he studied at the school of how to approach women. There was this guy. I think he had a show on MTV. His name was Mystery or some shit like that. I don't know if you remember
that.
this.
Yeah, I
He was
remember
he
that show.
taught
The
guys
pickup
how to
artist.
talk. Yes, the pickup
Yeah,
artist.
pickup artist.
That's where he learned. He went to that school because one of the main rules you learn is you neg chicks to make them like you more.
Hey, but you're not being very nice. He had MS13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry,
I want to get to
Terry,
Ukraine.
No. He had
Hang on, stop.
MS as clear as you.
Trump is so loud and so wrong that it's almost.
Here's the picture.
Yeah, he's doubling down. He's like, you want to see it? You want to see it? let me put this picture up and show everybody how stupid I am. He wanted to pull this picture out again. This was his ace in the hole.
Yeah.
You can be not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
The sigh. Can we hear the sigh again? Look, listen to his sigh. Terry Moran's sigh.
This is why people no longer believe the news because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
He was like, God damn it, dog. Like he's like,
my job. This is my job.
I can't believe this is my job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the break of a lifetime would be to sit down with the U.S. president to have a conversation. I thought that would be the height of my career. It's rock bottom. I'm at rock bottom now, dog. What's happening?
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No,
but
they're in your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
We'll take a look.
It's such a disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested.
It's crazy as fuck to literally tell someone to their face that what you're looking at isn't what you're looking at, which is
it's wrong. You're wrong. You don't trust your eyes. Listen to me and the words coming out of my mouth. That is the leader of our country too. That's what blows my mind. This man is the president. It's not like he sent a foot soldier out there like that blonde idiot bimbo speaker press secretary lady that goes out. Yeah, it's not like she went out there and was saying this stuff so you could be like, oh, you're stupid, but hey, you're hired to be stupid.
Yeah, the spin zone.
You're hired. Yeah, exactly. That was your job, to be kind of like polarizing figure in this administration. That's most people's job in this administration. Mm-hmm. The president of the United States getting on TV and just being like, don't trust your eyes and your ears. Listen to me. Everything you see is fake news unless you hear me saying it. What that tells me is we need to get really good at AI and start making Trump say some fucked up shit so that it's really hard for him to go out there and say, don't listen to it unless it's me. You know what I mean? We gotta start confusing his base.
No, here's the thing. There is something in there when it comes to trolling fascists. It's a very historically efficient way of muddling their message when you fuck with their message and fuck with them, because they're so ego driven and they're so sensitive. They truly are. and ridiculously sensitive that any form of like slight, it blows like it. They get off the road for a second and they lose the message.
Yeah,
That's the only way to fuck with these people, really. It's like by fucking with them in that way where it's very carefree and fun and not serious. Because you're not... The dumbest thing I always see on social media with like conservative talking points is thinking that you're going to have a actual
conversation
debate that is...
in
what
good faith.
What do they call it, Anthony? They call it...
good
when
faith?
It's like good faith, like a good faith debate. Because it's not. You're not gonna.
No.
So my strategy would be, if I ever get to that point, I'm gonna go talk to a Charlie Kirk or these fucking Ben, whatever the fuck his name is, and all these other fucking dorks that like are uber conservative, is to just start fucking with them. Because we're not gonna have a real debate here about like actual issues or policy or anything. Because
no,
we're not, right? So why am I gonna like fall into your trap where we're gonna
And here's
debate
the thing.
what, like, your weird talking points that are just like
not even, they're just gonna. They don't even. That's the thing. They don't debate any talking points. All they do is try to. They do what Trump just did. They follow his playbook. You're wrong, and you're a liar, and you're lying to the people. Fake news, right? It's such a good soundbite. But to your point of using humor and like fucking with them, it's think about every liberal comedian, every comedian really that you ever heard. Why do you think
shout out to Andy Haynes.
Shout out to Andy Haynes. Why is it that every time a comedian goes on stage and starts telling jokes, who's the crowd that gets butthurt? It's always conservatives. They're always the ones running back to be like, oh, I can't believe you said this. And then, I mean, come on. Elon Musk came out with his stupid chainsaw at the CPAC and was like, make comedy legal again. You know what I mean? Like,
accurate. That was, let's get you on SNL because that was a perfect Elon Musk, man.
Good Elon, right? I thought so. But yeah, they're so afraid of it. They're afraid of it that they need to try to co-opt it now. They're trying to use it against us. They're afraid of comedy because it does screw their message. It screws their message.
It does.
So
it does.
I agree.
So look,
Yeah.
I would
love
look
it.
if I were ever to have a chance to talk to like to President Trump in that capacity, the trolling I would do would be it would be uber prepared. It would be like, look, let's get some writers in the room. Let's get some really like hitters out here.
Oh
and
yeah.
Let's come prepared because I want to fuck with them so hard. But maybe I gave it away now. Maybe I just gave away my master plan, and Trump will probably never. What if when we blow up, he sees this and they prepare?
And he wants to come talk to you?
They probably won't.
Well, that's interesting because what would you do? Because you sent me an article the other day about Hitler inviting who's the comedian?
So Larry David wrote an op-ed about going to dinner with Hitler.
Going to dinner with Hitler, right? And he was ready to go in there and be all whatever, but he ended up doing a Heil Hitler when he left because he had such a good time. He's like, Hitler couldn't be a nicer guy.
Now that's comedy. Now that's because I didn't see that.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, I didn't see it coming at all. I was like, but this is a long joke. Like, what the fuck? I did laugh at the end. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, sure as hell did. I think, and I want to end this on this note. And if you have any other thoughts, please share. But yeah, I think that the only way to deal with like fascism and these really like absurd policies and talking points and points of view is to make fun of them and to have the different approach. Not the like it's easy to get on here and say a lot of hateful shit and be angry. I mean, that's the default, and it's not that it's wrong. It's like, of course, why wouldn't you be upset about these things, especially if they're hitting close to home or whatever the case may be, or people that you love and affect you personally. But at the end of the day, like, that's not gonna stop these guys from being evil. You got to make them feel small because what they feel is like they're giants, and that's not the case.
So
that's what I want.
Use humor. Nice. I will say this: I like use humor, but I would say also I'm at the point where I'm ready to use violence, and I think violence is funny.